G'day folks, welcome back to North Africa 41. If you've missed the previous videos, the Axis forces are driving. They've just captured Benghazi in that last impulse. And if I get myself out of the way, you can see Tobruk out to the right. The Allies have been building fortifications around Tobruk. New one about to be built. They are defending the 9th Australian Division. If I can zoom in here, defending along that escarpment. That provides quite a defensive barrier against the Axis forces looking to advance along the coast. I think it halves their attack, so it makes it a real challenge for them to get up there. The Axis plan is to get some infantry around those positions somehow. That's the plan. I need to think about how to do that, the time it'll take to do that, and the cost to do that. In terms of really, time is the main factor, because the main Allied plan here has just been to slow down the Germans, and they've been successful. The Germans are behind schedule. They need to pick things up a bit. They've lost a lot of elite infantry. If I can go to the casualties box, if I can find the casualties box, where is he? Here it is, eliminated box. You can see 3 steps of elite infantry. Oh, sorry, reconnaissance. 2 elite steps of infantry. There's not much left though. There's only 1 or none. Okay, so that's everything they started with. So that's the challenge for the Axis. It's, as always, balancing speed with cost to your forces. They're now also advancing within range of this artillery, and it is an artillery. It's the first artillery ASU that we've seen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're in range to provide defensive cover for this formation here. So if I look at the terrain effects chart, yeah, that escarpment, they're along a road, halved when attacking up. Advance up to combat is prohibited. 14.5, I think, unless along a road. Terrain in advance. Escarpment hexites. Mechanized units may only advance using a road. Yeah. So, but we can cross it with non-mech, so they can come up straight along here. I was thinking earlier they had to go round, but they can go. This infantry can just go straight across. So maybe not this impulse, but hopefully the next impulse. But all of this is slowing down the Axis schedule. They want to capture the next objective is Martuba airfield out here, and they're way off. Well, the Italians are pretty close. Look, let's get into it. We are up to the second impulse, British Allied impulse. We start with the event phase. We'll roll 2d6. It's an 8, which I'm pretty sure is just going to be a resource point. It is. These are always welcome. I've got to give you a lot of resource points, but it's giving me a lot of fortifications. All right, so that's my resource point. Replacements. Restore units using replacements. Nothing happening. Fortification is complete. This is always exciting. We flip that fortification to its completed site. So Tobruk is now surrounded by these fortifications, which is really good for the Allies. And they've done that before the Axis forces are even close. Remove transport markers, so I can remove that rail marker, return that to the Allied holding display, and we can get to the Allied movement phase. So I'm going to hold here with my tanks. They're going to try to recover. I'm not too concerned about them. I am, and this is a bit of a concern here. So what I'm going to do out here is I have my trucks. I'm going to bring them back, all of them. Now these are MSUs, so I'm going to drop them all off. Drop the supplies off into Tobruk. I revert them all to truck units. That's 3 supplies. All right, so I don't need the trucks can all now do a special move back to back to the Nile. Can I special transfer, look at this, special transfer back to the Nile Delta. All of you. Right, that's a common move, getting back to the Nile Delta. And here's my supplies in the Tobruk holding box. Now, Derna and Matuba, I think it's worth at least putting up a bit of a fight here. So I'm thinking about moving. These guys can only tack move, so they'll tack move back 1. And get these tanks to go 1, 2, 3, and maybe hold on the outskirts there. Yeah, I think that's my plan. Got the Australians, got the 22nd Guards. They are holding the Gambut airfield. These here, but they might want to move up to Mimi. The Italians are in position to attack. They have got 12 attack factors. So I can certainly kind of pin them in and hold them in this area. I can go 1, 2, 3, for example. Alright, just slows them down. They can get a 1-to-1 attack here to become 2-to-1, but slowing them down is the key here. If I look at the Allied reinforcement schedule, we've got some more coming on turn 4, more coming on turn 6. They get upgraded turn 6. Turn 7, got a lot of South Africans arriving. Okay, so I'm just trying to slow down that Axis advance. I'm going to bring the Guards in, and they're just going to jump straight into there. Not a problem. Here we have a lot of forces. So I've got... I don't need that truck anymore, so that can teleport straight back to the Nile Delta. These guys can move 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is a non-mechanized unit. So it's not 10, it's 8. I apologize. 8 if they move entirely along the highway. These guys can move 8, but using road movement. And they're going to jump into Tobruk. So now I've got an infantry and a tank replacement into Tobruk. I am going to move the other one to Tobruk as well. And the one that was in Tobruk, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to move them way out to the front. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now they're within range to replenish that 5 RTR there. That's the way replacements work. All right. The Indians there, yep, they're done. These guys can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll jump in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've only got to move them with 3, so they're using extended movement for an extra 3. And these guys can move 8 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll leave those supplies in Matra. Now, looking over here, not mechanized, they've just moved, so they can't move again. They've done that special movement. All my trucks are back now in the Nile Delta. Looking good. And that's about it for the Allies. So containing, holding here. I could have tried to build some fortifications here, but I didn't. Kind of starting to regret it now. Would have been interesting to build some fortifications in these 2 hexes just to really bolster their defences. But that's it. So now we get to the Allied combat phase. No combat going on. Allied recovery phase. So this is where these guys now are just disrupted. Allied supply phase. Everyone's in supply. No supply issues at all. And the delay phase. We grab the Allied supply markers. I think they're already on the map. We might actually voluntarily remove that one. So I'm going to put that back in the display. Next turn I'll put it out again along one of the major roads again to slow down their supplies, Axis supplies coming on the map. All right. So now we head to the Axis player turn. So it's Axis second impulse. As usual, we start with the event table. They roll 2d6. It's a 2. All right, we haven't had a 2 before, so let's see what this is on the event track. Engineers place 1 completed fortification in a legal hex, or repair 1 friendly controlled port by 1 box. I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to repair Benghazi by 1 box. That's very nice. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, nice. So with that complete, we can head to replacements. Now they do not have, they've had replacements just arrive last turn, but they are not in a location where they can be really used. So I'm going to fortifications complete, remove transport markers, Axis movement phase. Okay. This is tough. How am I going to get across these barriers? I can try and just smash my way up there. I'd have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So hold on, they'd be halved. The escarpment is going to halve the attacker when they go up. So I have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18 on 7. I do not have an air unit. Air unit will cost 2 resource points. Actually, you know what? Sorry. Yeah, port repair happens at the end of my movement phase. I'd have 2 to 1. I don't get the tank shift, but I would get, well, I don't have my elite infantry anymore, so I don't get my elite infantry shift anymore either, which is really frustrating. If I were I'd be looking at 2 to 1 odds. It might be worth it. So I'm going to try and attack across this escarpment. I'm going to throw everyone in. And give it a go. Going to move the Italians up the coast. 1, 2, 3. They can have bonus movement. Actually, they can move 10, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, these guys are going to move 1, 2, 3. No, 2. But I might get this infantry to go 1, 2, 3 and start to help them out. I am going to move this MSU all the way around here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they can supply this attack. I've dumped some supplies in the desert here. They are going to move to Tripoli. They're going to move up there as well to be able to provide supplies to my attacks. I might put them there. And then we've got some Italians moving across the desert. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we might keep the pressure on these guys and just attack them. Try and hit them, cause a retreat, cause them to go into full retreat. Really disrupt their plans. That's everyone on the map. Now, I did have 1 truck. These are mechanized, so they can come straight on to map. Replacements can come on. They can come on. They're mechanized as well. So with 4 movement, they can go 4 to there, and then they can use extended movement to go 1, 2, 3, keeping the Italians together. So they'll go out to the right. The replacements will go 5, 5. They'll they'll join them, I think. And they can use extended movement to come out and go one. They probably don't need these replacements. Oh, sorry, that was that's the other replacement. Actually, you know what? German infantry replacement. I want to replenish my my elite. One of these guys. Now where does that happen? So I want to rebuild a unit that was eliminated using replacements to rebuild an eliminated unit. Now I haven't done this before, so bear with me while I check this. So replacements, when they're replacing an on-map unit, you move the replacement counter towards that unit and spend it. When I replace an eliminated unit, a friendly off-map box, hex containing the replacement unit being used and a friendly core. So I can move this 6. I can move them all up there and rebuild that unit on that core. Friendly core headquarters is in good supply, in good order, full supply. Can't be adjacent to enemy combat units. That's it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to plan to do. I can't do it this turn. Replacements happen in the initial phase, not during the movement phase, but I've moved that up. All right, so now I've got a truck, and I really should use the truck to get some more supplies, because I know that supplies, so I'm going to flip them to an MSU and get them moving out to here as well. Might use Benghazi as a bit of a supply dump. Actually, you know what? I'll get them up further to about there. Yeah, we'll put them both there. So 2 trucks that... I need a box. It'd be good to have a box for units that move to Tripoli this turn to know that I can't move them. I just need to keep that in mind. All right, they can't move out here yet because they don't have trucks. And these guys can move pretty far as well. So they can go 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, up to there. I might look to get these guys heading straight north and cutting out cutting off the sort of Allied retreat supply path. All right, so that's for German movement, Axis movement, and at the end of that, I can spend a resource point to repair the port of Benghazi. So it's recovered very quickly. Port repair is fairly straightforward, I think. You simply, at the end of a movement phase, spend a resource point, and I see a friendly combat unit in or adjacent to the port. Can never, yep. It says it can never be repaired more than once per friendly impulse. Now I did repair it. Okay, so maybe I can't do that because I repaired it using the event earlier. I know maybe there's an exception, but I mean technically that's the rule as written. It's already been repaired once this impulse. Okay, so now we can go to the Axis combat phase, and I'm going to try to attack up here. So they've got a defense of 7. I'm halved attacking up. So it's per unit. So halved, I rounded up, is 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I thought I had more than that. But it's 2 to 1. And I don't think I get many modifiers. 2 to 1. I do not get the tank shift. I have no elite arms. I have no artillery support. So it is just a 2-to-1. But a 2-to-1-6 is going to give me a D1 result. Okay. So a D1 result. They lose a step. And they're kind of... They're in rough terrain. Do they want to make a stand here? I think they do. I think I want to try to make a determined defense here. So they're going to try and roll for a determined defense. They're not elite. They will draw on this support. Okay, so I get a +1 for that support, determined defense support. Ah, that's a 2. So clear, rough. No, it's failed. So D1, they now have to retreat 2 hexes. And they are disrupted. The attacker may advance 3 hexes. Okay, so what we can do is we can go 1. And we can get a breakthrough combat here, which is not what the allies want to hear. So that's 1. I'm just checking my stacking here. I'm going to double check my stacking first because I've been playing Ardennes and I've forgotten the stacking. 5 stacking points. Silhouette unit is free, 1 silhouette's free, yep. So I've got a free unit, 1, 2, 3, 4. So plenty of stacking provisions here. Okay. So, breakthrough combat in North Africa 44. How does this work? Well, declare the breakthrough group, conduct the advance after combat, resolve combats as they occur. They complete their advance after combat before the other units. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Calculate odds. Can't use artillery or air support, not a problem. So the defenders here have got, they're disrupted. Okay, which means that they have their defense strength halved. So they're defending at 6-3. I'm attacking with 14. So that's 14 on 3, which is 4-to-1. I have the armor shift. So 2 armor minus 1 armor is 1. So my 4-to-1 comes up to 5-to-1. And a roll of 1 is a DR2 result. 1, 2, and they are in full retreat. And I can advance again. So we're up onto the escarpment. The Allies are in trouble here now. This retreat path is kind of cut off by the Italians over here. So we've got a bit of a challenge for the Allies in this area. Look, they can pull back to here. This is a Javel. It provides a 1 left shift for the defender, so maybe defending in this area is the best course, pulling back away from that escarpment. The defence is not double, but look, the Germans have broken up that escarpment, so I think it might be time to pull back our defences and just enable these units to recover. Okay, so that's German... oh no, we're going to do some combat over here as well. 7-12 on 1 with 1 armor shift. So we're looking at 7-1. 2 is a DR4 result. Okay, they are smashed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, and they will advance and advance. And I'm kind of tempted, very tempted. Yeah, let's do a breakthrough combat. With a DR4 result, I can do advance into combat up to 4 hexes. So let's do a breakthrough combat against these 7th Hussars. We've got 12 on 4, so they've got 3-to-1 and an armor shift of 1, so 4-to-1. 4 to 1. One is a DR2. They have to fall back. They are disrupted. And we've captured Martuba airfield. So wow, did not expect that to happen so quickly. The Italians playing a pretty important role here. Yeah, they'll event there. After combat for a breakthrough. I just wonder, because I had 4 hexes of advance. It has hexes remaining, so I'm going to send 1 more unit into Derna to capture Derna, the port of Derna. Now these guys are in even more trouble. Because they don't have a port. So the 9th Australian Division, how are they going to get out of there? I might have to bring up some forces to help them break out. Did not expect that to happen so quickly. Probably should have made a determined defence here. Didn't. No, I couldn't because of the DR4 result. So, yeah. So they've captured Derna intact. So, yeah. Problems for the Allies. That's it for the Axis phase. Now they're Axis recovery phase. I don't think there are any units disrupted or in full retreat. Replacement markers, there are none. Supply phase, they're in supply. They follow, no they're not. Oh, okay, so we've got supply problems now. I said I was going to address this. I've got to move my MSU up here. So these guys are in supply. Oh, they're in port supply. They've captured the port. So they're in port supply. For the first time, we have some port supply. They can't draw overland because this unit here is blocking my supplies, the potential supply line through here. You've got 5 overland hexes to a road or a track, a highway or a track. But I have the potential, I think, for port supply through Derna. And I just need to figure out what that does. So units that cannot trace a line of supply, that can trace to a friendly port or in port supply. It's identical to full supply, except ports may only supply a limited number of units. The number is equal to twice its current port capacity. So I can supply 2 units. I decide which units are in supply. I'm going to say that these guys are out of supply for now. Okay? So give the big, strong Italian units 8 strength supply. These guys will just hold the port for the time being. I think it'll only be momentarily. I can just bring these MSUs. Maybe I can bring them around. I need to put them about here. I need to figure out MSUs, how they actually extend the supply line. So MSUs can extend a supply line. Any friendly unit that can trace a supply line to an MSU is in supply. So if I put the MSU here, for example, that MSU can then trace the supply to this road, and it just connects across these roads. That's the plan. Should have done that earlier, but I didn't. Not to worry. Okay, so port supply, everyone else is in supply. These guys are in supply, so we're all good to go. Allied access delay phase. So we have, I think we lost one of our delay markers. So I'm going to put the other one here. Actually, we'll put it there. Slow the Allies as they try and help. Then we roll 2 dice and remove 5 and 5. They don't exist, so nothing to worry about there. That's it for the Axis impulse. So we go back to the 3rd impulse now. And we roll for an event, which is 7, which I know is going to be a supply point, a resource point. Allied resource points, here we go. Allied replacements, all their replace. Okay, so I could, they're not in good order, so I cannot spend the replacements on them. The replacements are actually in a bad place. All right. And fortifications complete. I have no fortifications underway. All right. So now we get to the Allied movement phase. I am going to train these guys up to Mersa Matra. and mark them as rail moved. I have got 3 trucks, so I'm going to go, may as well use them, 3 MSUs. And we'll move them all as far as they can go, which will be 5 plus the extended 3 is 8, so we can move them straight to the 8 marker on the highway. That's as far as they can go. I'm going to move, use a move reminder. All right, this is the difficult area. I'm going to, what am I going to do? Get the heck out of here. 10 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, 8. I'm sorry, I did the same thing last time. These guys in full retreat, I think they so in some games full retreat is full movement. In other games it's just the same penalties, so I can only use tack movement. Okay. Going to try and keep these stacks together. Tack move back to there. They're going to move up to there. They are going to tack move back to here. They will tack move back with them. I want to try and keep some guys up here so I can connect with these forces retreating. So I want to keep kind of a line of retreat open for the 9th Australian Division as it pulls back away from Jebel Akhdar. How do I do that? It's going to mean getting some more units to the front. So 1, 2, 3. It's hard to see these lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll keep my replacements in Tobruk. I will send out these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and no, I'm going to put them here and pull these guys back to here. I'm getting ready basically to punch through this area as these guys pull back. So they're going to try and combine here to save these units. I know they're going to be in trouble. But we'll deal with that when we deal with it. All right, that's these guys in this area. I'm going to move up the 4th Indian. 8 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. MSUs come charging. Oh, they've already moved, sorry. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. They're going to stop there. They rail moved, and that's it. Okay. I do have these guys in Tobruk. Ooh, I do have an infantry replacement, so I might use that infantry replacement. So this happens at the end. No, when does it happen? It happens in the initial phase. I won't do it right now. That's it. Look, I'm thinking about fortifications. Do I want to build some more fortifications in this area? I'm looking at Gambit Airfield here. I'm looking at City Rezeg here. I'm looking at Solemn down here. I'd love to be able to build another fortification in Solemn. Bardia would be another good one. The port. For now, I think I'll leave it. Allied combat phase, no combat going on. Recovery phase. Okay, so I do get a bit of recovery. They are now just disrupted. They are recovered. Over here, they've recovered. And they are disrupted. Okay, it's not great news, but we're dealing with it. All right, that's recovery. Now we check the supply, and these guys are out of supply. Everyone is out of supply. There's no chance of getting supply through here. So out of supply, Alt-Shift-O. Not working, Alt-Shift-O. Yep, there we go. Doesn't like it. Out of supply, Alt-Shift-O. Yeah, there we go. So they're all out of supply. I notice there's a supply marker there. And I wonder if I can use that supply marker to give them supply. You would think you could. Supply points. They can flip ASUs or provide attack supply. But they don't provide supply themselves, which is interesting. Supply points do not provide supply. Think of this as weapon ammo, really, rather than everything else. So the penalty of out of supply is can only use tack movement. Ouch. That's going to be tough. That's what's really going to hurt. Can't receive replacements either. But I can spend that supply to flip my ASU. I can do that. That's what I can spend my supplies on, which I may as well do rather than let them fall into Axis hands. So I'm worried about these guys. They're going to be in trouble. Need to get some MSUs up here. So I might... I might grab a truck from here, try and send it out across the desert. Trying to keep lines open. If I can get to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then draw supplies down to Mini, maybe that's my plan, to try and save these units. 9th Australian Armoured Division in the desert. Okay. That's the Allied supply phase, Allied delay phase now. They do have a marker. And I'm going to throw it out. Why not here? Just slow everything down as it's coming onto the map. And that's it for the Allied impulse. We now go to the last Axis impulse. They'll make an event roll. It's a 6. That's going to be a resource point. 3 resource points now. Replacements. So this is where, okay, so I want to spend my replacement. I'm going to bring in my elite unit back from the box. And they go with my headquarters here. So they are spent. They can go back to the pool. They have been replaced. So they can move 1 hex. That's cool. That's how you spend replacements. I've got an Italian replacement too. I do have a tank. I don't have an infantry loss yet for the Italians. So we get to the fortification complete. Remove transport markers. That's cool. Look at that air range. Okay, movement phase. Move my units. All right, let's really try and keep the pressure on. 1, 2, 3. They can only move 1, but they'll move 1. MSUs, I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extended movement, 1, 2, 3. Now, what does that mean? Units that can trace supply to these. So road supply, I think it's road supply to an MSU. Oh look, I've opened the supply lines anyway. So this road is now clear, so they'll recover supply. Can have the Italians go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this big stack here is going to keep the pressure on the Australians. Then we're moving across the desert. Sorry, they were there. I forgot to move them properly. They will come across the desert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 using extended movement. They will go. Where am I going to go here? 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, 6 and a half, 7, 8, 9 using extended movement. We will get these guys to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extended movement. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extra movement point because they're on tracks. And that's a solid defense. That's a solid defense. So probably don't want to attack this turn. What I'm going to do is move these guys into Derna and pull these guys just back a bit to block that gap. So I've got zones of control stretching along through here just in case. So I'm really trying to trap that 9th Australian Division up in the north, up in this area. So we've raced across to Derna. Things looking better for the Axis now, all of a sudden. They should be on schedule. They need 2 airfields. They have 2 airfields. So they've met that requirement. The next airfield, so they've captured that airfield. The next airfield is Gambut out here. Alright, so that's the next target, and we need to capture that by the end of next turn. Okay, geez, no letting up. That benchmark keeps going up. Alright, we do have 2 trucks here, and I'm going to use them both as MSUs. So we're going to flip that to an MSU and flip that to an MSU to bring this down to, and get these trucks out. So it's going to be -2 for the delay. So that's effectively 2, 3, 4. No, I'm sorry. It's 6. It's +2. So that's 8 to there. Okay, so I can get my MSUs out to there. I will keep moving the headquarters out. But I'm going to keep them a bit safe. So they're going to come 1, 2 to El Abiar. I'll keep the Italian replacements up there with them. And bring the MSU up to there to spend maybe on this combat here. All right, that is Axis movement complete. Now I can at this stage do coastal, I can do coast to coast move. This is the first time I've done this as well. So now that I've captured Benghazi, now that I've captured Derna, I captured that last turn, I can actually ship units into Derna. A combat unit with a stacking value of 1. Do I have some Italians over here? Yeah, so this unit here, for example, I can probably ship straight into Derna. And I'm kind of thinking, I might actually just try it with a green unit. So I'm not risking anything too valuable. But what I'm going to try and do here is a naval transport, a coastal convoy. I'm going from one port in Africa to another. I may conduct 1 free coastal convoy per impulse. Okay, so 1 coastal convoy, just to get these Italian units who are kind of stuck here otherwise, up to Derna. I'm going to try it. It's risky. So just to clarify, ports in friendly control at the start of the movement phase. Derna was friendly since the last impulse. I can do it into and out of enemy zones control. I will place the coastal shipping marker on that unit to remind me that it attacks a defense at half strength. It's probably not important. It is using one shipping point because it's a one-step unit. All right, this is where I'm going. I'm going to Derna. It's limited by port capacity. Port capacity is 1 in Derna. This is the number of shipping points that can be embarked and debarked. Now I need to roll for a convoy attack, and this is what I'm worried about. I'm going all the way into Derna, and Derna is riskier, a lot riskier than Tripoli, for example. This is why I'm using this green unit. So it's not a valuable unit if they get attacked. But now I have -2 modifier. And it's a third impulse, right? So it's a third impulse. It's another -1 modifier. So it's a -3 modifier to my 2d6 roll of 7. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Derna, look at that. Just safe. I am just scraping through. Access convoy to Derna. So these guys arrive in Derna safely. I'm really happy with that. That's I'm just evading the Allied air and naval coverage of my routes. Yeah, lucky because it's a third impulse. So the third impulse of the turn provides that -1 dice roll modifier. So yeah, pretty happy. Going well, things going well for the Axis now. Things have turned around. All their movement is done now, so let's look at combat. We've just got the one combat going on, and it's over here. I've got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 on 3. It's going to be 7 to 1 with armour shifts as well, but the maximum we can do is 7 to 1. Geez, these poor Australians. They roll a 5. Defender shattered. They lose 1 step. So they're eliminated. Why is that? Remnant. Should be remnant now. Australian remnant A. Okay, poor guys. And they are in full retreat. 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the attackers can advance. These guys will be halved in combat, so they'll only defend at a strength of 3. I'm going to go for it. We have got 18, 19, 21, 22, 23 on 3. Again, 7 to 1. Yep, 7 to 1. 3 is a DR4 result, so they are also in full retreat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. Now, when a unit, again, I'm just reminded that when a unit in full retreat, when an enemy unit moves adjacent to it, they must immediately be retreated 2 hexes, so they must retreat up to here. I'll put them at the bottom of the pile. Things looking dire up here for the Australians. Yes. Actually, they're in full retreat. Yeah, no, that's okay. They didn't retreat. I'm just thinking about surrender rules. Because if a unit is forced to retreat twice in one turn, but I don't think that happened. The other unit retreated once. Non-mechanized units forced retreat. They're mechanized. They retreated more than 2 hexes. So they retreat 2 hexes, they're fine. I think. No, they actually surrender. So they because they're a non-mechanized unit, they were forced to DR4. A non-mechanized unit surrender if they're ever forced to retreat more than 2 hexes. So they, the 9th Australians, enter the surrender box. They appear here. Each preparation phase, they advance 1 box to the right. Okay. So what else do we have here? We've got these guys. They moved, I believe, there, if I'm understanding this correctly. These are still full retreat. It's getting a bit messy up here with all these retreats going on. All right. That's German combat. I think they're done. 2, 3, 4, yep. So combat is done for the Axis. They now have their recovery phase, simply removing that. No one, oh, we'll remove the coastal shipping, return it to display. We then get their supply phase. These guys are very much in supply. Yeah, things coming together for the Axis. Had a bit of a rough start, a bit of a slow start. Can spend SPs to flip ASUs, but I don't have any. And that's the end. So that's the end of the Axis impulse. We now go to the supply attrition phase. Now the way this works is each player rolls 2 dice and consults the attrition table. So the Axis will roll 2 dice. It's an 8. Do they have units in the Mersa Matra sector? No, they don't. This is the sector here, so they don't have to worry about that. How about the Allies? They roll a 12, which is no effect. That's the second time they've rolled no effect. You're getting pretty lucky on those attrition rolls. And that's it. Victory point phase. So the benchmark is 2. They've captured 2 airfields, so there's no change in the victory points. The British are still, the Allies are still winning with 1 victory point, but they should be very worried about the loss of their forces in this area. I don't think they're going to get out. They are armoured, but they're in full retreat, so they're in trouble. All right, folks, we will advance the turn marker to the preparation phase, advance the turn marker to May, and I'll wrap it up here. Again, early campaign. Things are in the Axis favour. Hey, Mark, I'm just wrapping up. The Axis have broken up through the escarpment. They've smashed the 9th Armoured Division, 9th Australian Division. The Italians have captured Derna, remarkably, and Martuba Airfield. I did not expect that to happen so quickly. Really good breakthrough. We're now shipping infantry straight to Derna from Tripoli. And the Allies are hastily compiling a defence around Tamimi. Around here, the Gulf of Bomba. Got to watch these trails as well. Very easy for these Italians to come around here. There is a lot to think about here. Now it's getting very interesting. All right, folks, wrapping it up. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening. All right, thanks everyone. And